Hello everybody. Quick disclaimer, I'm out for my daily exercise, so I'm on a 10-acre private lot, there's nobody else about, so before the usual trolls start complaining and whining that they think that social isolation is actually house arrest, that's what I'm doing. So out for my morning's exercise, I'm going to do some breakfast while I'm here. So what I'm doing, I'm going to do a 3-item cook. I've been tagged by Spate, so yeah, I'm going to crack on with that one. I'm going to do a breakfast. Everyone seems to be doing all the rest of it. I've also been tagged by Stu for another 3 items, so that one I'm going to do an evening meal. I'll probably do that next week or something. And yeah, so come along. Right, good morning. So what I'm going to do is I've packed quite heavy today, just because, I mean, normally, don't want that on my bum, normally I'd carry quite light gear, so I've either got my more modern kind of take on it, which is like my jet boil, just quick, easy, but you've always got that renewable kind of sauce you've got to get. Or I've got my Land Rover set up where I've got like the Ridge Monkey full cook system, or just cook inside on the kitchen. What I wanted to do this morning is I've got quite a bit of time, like I say, out doing a bit of a walk and stuff, so I thought what I'd do, I'd get a bit of cast iron cookware, I'd light a fire, do it a little bit more old school, not hardcore, just enjoyable, do you know what I mean? I think that's the key for all this, is making it enjoyable. And it's a good key skill for the beginners out there, just to know options, because I know when I started to get away from just like a set routine of this is how it's done and started to explore other options, you come across other people where they're very much, this is how I do it, this is how it should be done, and I don't like that. And it puts pressure on someone learning that they have to live up to exactly how that's done, which it's definitely not the case, because there's thousands of different options and everyone's got their own take. So cherry pick a little bit out of everybody's and find what works for you. What I would say is find a backup option that you know is going to work easily. So like myself, when I'm in the Land Rover, I'll quite often use a blowtorch and some cooking oil just to get the fire going quickly and get some food on, because there's a good chance we've been driving all day. We just want to get in camp and start to get some food going and get some warmth, because we might be wet or what have you. Then from there, once you know you've got that comfort level, you can then go into more your primitive skills and the things that you enjoy to do, unless like a day like today where it doesn't matter how long I take. So options. So I'll show you what I've packed today. Basically, I've got this front little pouch, I've got knife, charging gear, because obviously I've got my phone on me, I've got all this camera equipment. It's just, for a YouTuber, unfortunately, it's a must if you want to see this. Front section here. Oh, this bag's it's getting a little bit old now. I've had it about 6 or 7 years, and back in the day this was like the Gucci bit of kit to have, but the Pipers of Southern California. I'm going to replace this with probably a 511 Rush 72, something like that eventually. Front section here, coffees and things, brew kit, knives and forks. So this is where I'm going to get something to drink, which is an essential part when you want to just chill. Next section. So the next section in here, I've got these removable panels. So this panel here, gloves, thick driver's gloves. Reason being, going to play with fire. We're going to play with cast iron. With those, you can handle your hot pan. You can get some sticks on without burning yourself. If you've got soft hands, I'm not bad, I'm a tradesman. If you've got soft hands, maybe for processing wood, that kind of thing, put some gloves on. There's no shame in it, you know. Your hands are whatever it is. You don't want to knacker them and then not be able to do what you need to do. Next section is, this is my odds and sods pouch. This isn't that organised, this is more, I'll take this from bag to bag. So if I'm taking a lightweight bag or something like that, I'll just open this one up, rip this pouch out and put it in another one. The contents of this one is a bit of everything. So we've got things from multi-tool, Bit of cooking oil. That's a must. If you've got a little container with some cooking oil in. Ferrocerium rod. Waterproof pouch with brasso in. That's my preferred fire lighting thing. If not, we've got fat wood with more fat wood inside with wax coated. And just some paracord and some tape. Just little things that do really come in handy. Bottom pouch, it's just a water filter. So if I ran out of water, I know I live in one of the wettest places in the world. I know I can just go and get, well, you can find water anywhere. And if you wait 10 minutes, it'll probably rain anyway. So you're gonna get water. Back section, this is where it's really gone to pot. So packed myself a little egg. Hopefully that's in one piece. Got some pancake mix. And what else have we got? Gonna go a little bit more old school this morning. That's my water and a cup to cook in. It's the Crusader cook set. I would like the new Crusader one because you can have it as a little bit of a wood burner as well, but they're not kind of coming through to the surplus just yet. Price has come down a lot though. Then we've got pan. Don't use that as often as I should. A little bit of bacon. I know these aren't the most bushcrafty kind of things, and I could have gone to town and carried some little wooden plates and things like that in. It'd be more aesthetically pleasing, but it is what it is. I'm just in a tree line. I'm not in a forest. I'm not doing anything overly special. I'm just showing you that you can do these things. James, you text me 17 times in a row. So yeah, that's basically where we're at with this. That's proper throwing me off now. No frills. So yeah, that's the concept of. So what we're going to do now, we've gathered a bit of wood that's fallen all over, so it should be nice and dry. For the beginners out there, kind of they think cutting a tree down or cutting a big branch down and sectioning it up, that they're going to get an easily to light fire and things. Bear in mind that tree is still living, so it's full of moisture, so it's not going to burn overly well or light overly well. If you can find dead stuff, that's the easier it cracks the better, that's the hotter and faster it's going to burn. So that's the kind of thing you want to be looking for, properly dead twigs. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll get this lit now. So what we're going to do now, okay, ideally don't get all your stuff out, you're going to lose it, but for the purposes of this I want I know there's a lot of you that know what you're doing, but there's more and more people that are learning, the beginners, what have you, and they do appreciate the little bits where they can see what you're doing and they can get it from there. So what we've got, obviously we've got some cooking oil, got the brasso. Really do like this. If you just want something that's guaranteed to start, got the brasso. It's, you know, just what you clean your metalwork, things like that up. It's got like a flammable cleaner that's in with this like wool type thing, but because it's got huge surface area, it takes a spark so well. So I always have that, some of that on me. Some fat wood, Ranger bands, aka bicycle inner tubes. Great gift that. I really do like that. I was never massively into fat wood till I got gifted this, and it's one thing I need to catch up with Darren, because he's the grand master of finding fat wood in the forest. Some of the pieces he gets are phenomenal, so I'm going to get some more of these little lanyard type pieces. What I might do, just as a bit of a gimmick, I might get some of this fat wood, cut it down to about yay big, hole in it, paracord thing, put bugoutvehiclesuk on. Then what you can do, you can, when you want to start a fire, you can just get a few little slithers of it, you know, and like that, you're away, aren't you? And it's on your car keys, so just a little option. So what we'll do, in this little space here, we're going to process some smaller sticks. We're going to get the tiny little ones, smaller than your little finger. Then we're going to get some bigger ones and bigger ones and bigger ones, separate them into different piles, start with the really small ones, work up to the bigger ones, so we've got a nice little fire going. Once we've got some nice hot embers, we're going to look at getting the coffee on the go and the pan. So yeah, let's get started. So here you got some wood shavings, perfectly dry, all been dried out. If you dig down in here, got a lot of wax. Okay, So what that does is it gives you something that's going to burn for that little bit longer than just wood on its own. So I'm going to put that in a little pile here. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to use a few different things, so at least that way you can see, you know, what works for yourself. You know, you can either take it on board or find your own way. Okay, that's more than enough with how dry the wood is. So nice and sealed. Again, you've got another option here. What the bicycle inner tube does, it's not easy to light on its own, but once you've got a bit of flame, it does light, and once it's lit, it's then very hot and burns for quite a while. So it then gives you a chance that if your wood's not perfectly dry, that it's just giving it that bit of heat just to dry it out that bit more, ready, you know, when it'll take. And then again, once you've got that lit, you've then got a bit more heat, a bit more fire there. You can get the next piece of wood on that's a bit bigger and a bit bigger and a bit bigger, and you just build it up in stages, because that's all you're after. You just have to heat, lots of heat. What I'm going to do, a lot of people, they like the dust off of this. I tend to find you need like a solid surface, you know, like a tree trunk, something like that, and you'll use the spine of the knife, the sharp bit, and you're going to rub it along here like this. I don't know if you can see, probably can't see that. As you're doing it, as you rub up, you're making these little tiny burrs. Because it's fat wood, this is full of flammable sap, and it's such a large surface area, a spark off the ferrocerium rod will light this. So I'm just going to get a bit of that in there. Alternatively, once you've got that, you can then shave some pieces in. So I don't know if you can see this here. Focus. Lots of surface area, all flammable stick. Go from there. So two choices. You can either do the ferro rod straight into this. It may take a good few strikes before you hit the right bit with a good size piece, okay? Or you can cheat a little bit and you can put a bit of brasso in there, and you know it's going to take first time. One option people do, okay? A lot of people, they're just going like this and it's going everywhere. The other approach is you hold your knife still and pull back. A lot of people like that one. And if you're an absolute pro, what they'll do is just on the very end here, the kind of leverage, just like that, and it's right there. The other thing that I like to do, if it's a bit wetter, is I'll scrape it, but I'll do it as slow as I can. That way you don't get the ignition, and you'll scrape little tiny bits of dust off this, little pieces. They then go into your fire pile, right? The reason I do that is once you've got a few of them in there and you give this a good one of them and it lands in that pile of the magnesium, it then lights the magnesium, which lights super hot, and you'll see it fizz away and everything around it sets on fire. So that's just a little option that you've got there. So yeah, like I say, you've got the beginners kind of one where people do this, and you can see one went over there, one went over there. The other thing as well is it can it just goes everywhere. The more advanced one is pulling down, like so. Oh, like I say, really getting in there, scraping a good few pieces off. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that bit of a spark in there. It landed just in, hit a piece of the fat wood dust or maybe a bit of the wax, something like that, and it's just enough that it took light. So I'm not going to rush this, but basically your smaller pieces, stagger them. You don't want to just plonk everything on one side because you need that air to come round the sticks. You can put the bigger ones on if you're going to go for something that's so dead it's, you know, it's bone dry. If you're in a rainy environment and things are wet, don't stress too much if it's not lighting, it's not taking hold. Once you've got a bit of flame like this, if you're really struggling, that's when, where are we? A little bit of cooking oil comes into its own. If you can get a bit of cooking oil on there, this will take light and it'll keep that heat, you know, it'll accelerate the heat, which then in turn gets everything dried out a little bit more. So whether you carry a little one like this just for cooking, or like with the Land Rover, I carry a bigger one for fire lighting as well, well worth carrying it. And it's one of them things, I don't hear many people mention cooking oil for fire lighting. But you've seen a chip pan fire, you know there's heat there. So what we're going to do now, as this has started to go, we've now got a minute or two where we can just square everything away, because what happens is you get obsessed with this, you put your knife down, you put your hand down on it, you cut yourself, then you've got to sort that out. That gets lost somewhere, so just put the thing away, put everything away that you're not using. Okay, that can go back over with the bag. While I'm on, I've had this for years and years and years. This is my Doberman knives Hellhound that he made me. It's a little bit excessive because back in the day I only used axes and hatchets, and I wasn't too chewed about knives, so what I did is I asked him, can you make me a knife that's like an axe? So I ended up making this, which is like 8mm thick, I think. So it's a chunk of steel like, but what's happened is over the years I've broken the tab that goes onto my belt. I've got another one, but what I'd like to do now, if you know any knife makers that are in the Sheffield kind of area, or I'm east of Sheffield, but anyway, that's local to me. I want to deal with people, not someone miles away on the internet and this gets lost in the post or what have you. I'd rather go and have breakfast with someone and sort it. I want to retain the Kydex, because I love the retention, love the way it works. But a leather skin putting over here with a ferro rod holder and maybe like a little pouch for some fire lighting stuff, something along them lines. I've seen a few people do it. Step 1 Survival, he did a lovely job of it. And I just like that, so I can just scout carry it, little pouch, little holder, nice dark leather, something worn that'll go with that. So yeah, if you know someone, tag them, let them know. If they want to come out for a camp out or something like that, if they can do it in the field, that'd be even better. Get a bit of footage camping and all this. Right, so poured some water out. We're not ready for a brew yet, but while you're generating heat, you may as well use it. So what I'm going to do, I put that there. It's not going to boil. What it is going to do though, it is going to heat up to a very hot temperature. So when we're ready for a brew, we've got very little time and effort to actually make the thing boil. Okay, that's for later on when I've got the coffee. All I'm doing now, I'm just trying to get a few bit bigger pieces on because we're going to cook on the coals. So we'll get that hot, we'll get the coals going, then we'll get the pan. Ideally, I would have got streaky bacon for this, but hashtag pandemic, I'm not going to the supermarket, so I'll get what I can get. So now the bacon's about there. So what I'm doing is I'm just letting the pan cool down a little bit, because the last thing I want to do, put the pancake mix in and it just burn on one side, okay? So pan's lovely and warm. I'm going to try, I don't know how successful this is going to be, of putting the bacon on the edge, because it's not like in your kitchen where you can just have it in a separate pan or anything like that. So let's give this a bash. Lovely hand forged set of knives and forks and things. It's a bit of a pain to eat with sometimes, but I just like the whole primitive kind of cook set. That was a gift off the missus. That probably the most thoughtful thing that I've ever got. Okay, so let's get that up at the top. What I didn't want to bring the whole tub out, so I just made enough for myself, left the rest on the side for the farm at home, gone out for my exercise, and yeah, there should be enough in here for one, maybe two pancakes. And me carrying the thing in should have mixed it lovely. Yeah, I think we'll get two out of that. The beauty of the cast iron cookware is it's a pig to carry, it really is, but like now, that's been off of the fire for some time, but it's still retained its heat, and it takes very little just to put it over for a second, get the heat back in and take it off, and it carries on cooking. This is the thing with like being a bit more bushcrafty, right? I could totally have brought half the kitchen out with me and had every tool for this, but it defeats the object when you've got to take 17 trips to the car to go and get all your gear. You're not doing it right if that's the case. The whole point is you use the minimal tools that you've got and you adapt and you make things work. Like if I hadn't got a fork, I'd just sharpen a stick up, I'd use that. That's the whole point of this. It's the whole thing of getting your head round just using what you've got and kind of going with it. It's never going to be right, it's never going to be perfect. You might totally destroy an egg trying to cook it, but if you've done it with minimal tools and it still tastes alright, you won. So don't beat yourself up if things don't look perfect, because what you'll find is a lot of Instagrammers, especially Instagrammers, a lot of YouTubers, what you don't see behind the camera is they've got the car there, they've got all the tools in it. You'll see these pictures of campfires with roaring flames licking up the bottom of a pan and eggs in it. You know them eggs are going to be absolutely wrecked, but for the 5 seconds that's makes a great image, they take the picture, edit it on Lightroom and put it on Instagram, and you think that's the way it's going to be done, and it's not realistic. It's like when you're looking at Pornhub or something like that. Women don't look like that in the pub where I come from, trust me. It's the same thing with Instagram and bushcraft. They're all posers, not all of them, but a lot of them are posers and a lot of them are fakes, so please don't beat yourself up, it's not real life. So I'm 50-50 now, whether I just stick an egg in the corner of this and have egg, pancake and this, or, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I was going to do another pancake, but I don't have the real estate to put this stuff out and keep it clean. It's when a mess tin or something like that would come in handy, but like you say, I've got the coffee on the go. In fact, what I will do, because I am getting close, I'm going to go for a coffee now. This isn't boiled, but you can see there's heat on there, and you heard the fizz then. So that should be brewing away nicely. If we go in my little bag here, I should have a sugar. I forgot teas. What's this one? White sugar, white sugar. I prefer brown sugar if I can, but you're not going to get that in these. Hold the gas straight on the fire. Don't stick the plastic on, it'll make your food taste horrible. Alright, there we go. Fold that back down, straight in the bag. You don't have to put it neatly away, just put it in the bag so it's not going to fall out and you're going to lose it. You're alright when you sat still, it's when you move and do something that's when you're going to lose things, okay? So for the egg, what I'm going to do, I'm letting the pan cool down a second because I like my eggs slowly cooked. I don't like them crispy on the bottom. I know Chunky loves it, and every time I do an egg I think of you in a non-creepy way, mate. Because he likes his the opposite to me. He likes his right crispy on the bottom, and it's just not for me. So there we go, all I've done. Reason I used tissue paper is I'm going to use the tissue paper to clean later. And what I'll do as well, we'll put a bit of fresh oil in that. Give it half a chance. And with a bit of extra oil, we'll tilt the pan up to one side. That way the egg goes straight into the little puddle of oil and it's not just going to go onto the hot cast. Look at the residual heat, that's still far too hot for me for cooking an egg. But again, you go with what you've got, don't you? You're not going to get a picture perfect one doing it this way, but there's less chance of burning the thing. So again, before we get to the next step, let's have a little tidy. So what we'll do now, because we want a brew, increase the heat of this. So get that up in there. The egg's cooking nice and slow. It's going to be a little bit crispy on the bottom, but I think over a fire in a cast iron, that's not too bad to say we've done it in one pan, a separate pan. I'd just do it slower from scratch. There we go, how's that? So, we've got bacon, eggs, pancakes, and to top it off, I'm not counting this as an ingredient. I don't care what the rules are, I make the rules, it's my channel. 3 ingredients, I'm going to call this a condiment. Bit of maple syrup. Beautiful. Right, so, YouTube being YouTube, I'm going to get the thumbnail now. Give me 5 minutes and I'm going to tuck in. Right, a little bit hunched in. I'm not one for sticking cameras over here, there and everywhere and running about to get the perfect shot and stuff. So main thing is now I'm just going to dig in, so let's see how we go with this. That's got way too hot. The pancake's burnt, that's the first thing. It tastes alright, but I think because I've done it so hot and because I've done it in one pan, it's got a little bit hard. It's not the end of the world though, because what we can do, while the pan's on an angle like this, because the pan's still hot, still cooking temperature, I can do a messed up not perfect one, just in the bottom there. And by the time I've finished, that should be halfway cooked. So, round 2. Nice runny. Oh, this side's nice and thick. And if you've got the Crusader cook set, so you don't burn your lips, instead of having to put a bit of duct tape around the top of this one, into the plastic one. Cheers everyone. Oh, that's good. It's ready for that. Still red hot. That is super hot. That didn't quite come up to a boil, which is good for coffee. I think it's something like, is it 90, 97, 98 degrees is best for coffee. And on this one, look, that's going lovely. No, it's not ideal to use metal cast iron cookware and use a metal knife on it, but again, you don't see me bringing my kitchen out here. Sorry, I narrate everything. What it is, after several years of doing YouTube, you know what people are going to comment. You know they're going to say, what's that knife? Where'd you get it from? Who made that? Who did this? Why are you doing like that? You shouldn't do that. So what happens is, you kind of find yourself heading off the people before you even say it. Because otherwise, if I don't, what ends up happening is the comment, and I'll either be snappy with them because I'll be at work replying or something like that, or I've just got home, I've got enough stuff to do, and you read a snotty comment and you don't respond as best because we're all human, and I'm quite childish. Or you just ignore it, then people get bitter because you ignored it. So I'd rather just say the answer of, you know, people are going to say, what's that cooker? Where do you get this? Where do you get that? I'll just say it out loud. That's why I do that. It's not some weird kind of voice in my, well, it is a voice in my head, but you know what I mean. This tastes way better than it looks. Right peeps, I'm going to have round two on here. I've had umpteen messages and missed calls because there's drama on the internet. I'm going to go take a look at that and I'll come back when I'm finished. Alright. Right, so there we go. Let me just see if this is on record. Right, so there we go. That took forever. So that was well over an hour just to do something that take 10 minutes in my kitchen at home. But really enjoyable. Really nice. I'm in a nice place. Like I say, it's only a tree line. It's not spectacular. But no, it was a good bit of time to myself. So what I'm going to do now, while that pan's cooling down, I got the last of the mix, put that on, might have another one. I'm going to finish my brew, pack everything away, tidy everything away, dig the embers down, make sure they don't catch on anything else, and I'm going to get on with the rest of my work. So yeah, if you don't know, I'm back at work now. I've been back at work weeks and weeks and weeks, so I'm busy through the week. I'm also catching up with other jobs on a weekend and things. So yeah, busy. Really enjoyed the few days off that I had, but unfortunately, industry I'm in, it's not going to stand still. So yeah, it's one of them. Thank you very much to all those that have been liking and commenting on the videos. It has been noted. It has shown up on the analytics, on my analytics page. Wow, that was good. Totally cut off. Luckily, like I say, carry battery banks and things. So that's the reason why whenever you look in any of my bags, it's always stuff with that. I don't know how far we got on that, but yeah, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment down below. Any more ideas for any kind of campcraft, things like that, the beginners videos, everyone seems to like them. Anything you want to see, I'll try and work it into what I'm doing or make a specific video for you. Once all this lockdown's gone and I'm not having to do this on my daily walk or whatever, we'll look at a few other videos that I've got in some very, very unique locations. So if you want to see that and you're not subscribed, hit subscribe down below, and we'll get to them ones. And like I say, this isn't the end of the video. I just want to get this out there. And yeah, awesome. Really enjoying this morning. It's not often we get weather like this in the UK. Yep, that's where we were. Not too bad. We're going to get on now. I've got another job to do. Everyone's asking about Project DAF. Yes, I'm on with that now. Yeah, the people that were going to quote me and sort me out for a body, they dicked me about, so I'm just making it myself from scratch now. So that's up and moving. I'm going to go over there now because I'm actually where I keep my DAF. I'm going to try and get the thing started up. So there'll be another video. I don't know if it's going to be before this one or after this one. But yeah, going to get that fired up. It's not moved for 18 months, so get it moving basically, get it tidied out, get a list of things that we need. I know fuel lines are on there because it was sucking air when I parked it up, so it's going to be an issue. And judging by how many people ask me about it every live chat, it's going to be a good series of videos, so everyone seems keen and interested. What I'm going to do, thanks Speed for the tag on this one. Link to his channel is in the description below. And as well as that, Stu's tagged me in one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do steak, blue cheese and tomato, and because I've enjoyed doing this a bit more primitive and stuff, I think I'm going to get some slate or something like that, cook it on a rock, get everything a little bit more organised, maybe a few more kitchen tools, utensils or whatnot, maybe plan it out more than just chucking some stuff in the back of the van and going. So that's the plan for it. Please, nobody else tag me in these things, because I've noticed, like with Instagram, once I reply to one tag, 50 people tag me, then I feel tight for not replying or re-tagging everybody. Just can't be done. I don't want to be that miserable guy that doesn't respond to people and all the rest of it, so I'd rather just say as it is now. Please, I know you think you're the only person doing it, but dozens of people do it. Loads of people message me. Again, people are trying to message my personal Facebook account. I don't open their messages. Just as soon as I do, people then reply and reply and reply and reply, and it pings and pings and pings. I don't like it. I'm also getting no end of people now that are then messaging. I know I said to send the messages to the like page, which, cool, if you need to know something important about the Land Rover, a location, something like that. But people are now messaging me on there like they're my long lost friends that I know really well. I don't know you, a lot of you, so it's a bit strange when you're just messaging me in the middle of the day when I'm at work for a chat. I don't want to be rude to you or anything like that, but people don't take the hint, and you'll like answer the question quite, you know, to a dead, and then it's like, how's your mum, what you doing, what this, and it just goes on and on and on. So I don't want to be mangy about it, but I think people forget that you might think you know me because you've seen me on the videos for years, but I don't know who you are. You are a stranger on the internet messaging me. Just bear that in mind when you're asking me stuff, all right? Don't want to, it's so difficult because I've got to say this, but then I can hear myself and thinking, stop acting like you're a big deal, because you're not, because I know I'm not, but it's the sheer volume of these things now. It's a beast that I've created myself. I'm aware of that. I just don't want to get to the point where I ignore people or I have to tell people to do one. Do you know what I mean? So this is how I'm kind of approaching it. If you've got a better way, let me know. But yeah, it is what it is. So hope you enjoyed that. Click the like. If you're not subscribed, give us a subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra, folks.